أحمد الله رب العالمين حمد عباده الشاكرين الذاكرين حمدا يوافي نعم الله علينا ويكافئ مزيدا، وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع هداه. أما بعد, all praises are due to Allah, the creator, the cherisher, and the sustainer of this universe. And may his peace and blessings be upon his noble prophet Muhammad and his descendants and his companions and his followers. Dear respected followers of Prophet Muhammad, people are coming back from Hajj these days. And even those who did not go to Hajj were following up on TV or on the internet with what was happening there. Watching videos, pictures of people performing the Hajj rituals. People wearing their ihrams, people standing on the Mount of Arafah, people flowing down from Arafah to Muzdalifah, people where in Muzdalifah they collect the pebbles with which they use to stone a representation of the shaitan in Mina, and then doing the tawaf around the Kaaba, and then doing the sa'i between the hills of Safa and Marwa. So Hajj is full of symbols that if one becomes able to decode the messages of Hajj, he will find that Hajj is an eye-opener. Hajj explains both lives, the earlier life, dunya, and the hereafter, both of them. The ihram, for example, in Hajj, one puts off his clothes that he uses in day-to-day life and wears two pieces of cheap white cloth. Actually, saying wear them is not accurate. He just wraps them around him because they don't have any arms or pockets or anything. And he wraps those pieces of cloth around him. So, and same with women. Women wear very simple white clothes. Not two pieces of cloth like men, but they wear simple white clothes. So in Hajj, you see no difference between people. In Hajj, you won't be able to say if this man is a millionaire, an owner of a chain of restaurants or a chain of hotels in his country, or a very poor person whom his flight was donated to him in order to perform Hajj. You don't know. Because for a few days, people are just all equal. In Hajj, there's no difference between people. There's no difference between an Arab and an Indian. There is no difference between an American and a Rohingya. There's no difference because these differences vanish in the presence of Allah. In Hajj, there is no difference between a president or a king who can move armies and launch missiles and rockets, and a very simple caretaker or a taxi driver who doesn't have much authority on other people. So in Hajj, all these levels of authority, financial levels, all these vanish. All the voices are silenced in the presence of Allah. And because of that, many people, when they look at the ihram, for example, as a symbol, they think that, okay, in Hajj, people take off their normal clothes and they wear those two pieces of cloth for a few days in order to look weak and in order to look poor. But it's actually the opposite. Because the same people who after Hajj, when they take off the ihram and they wear what we call the normal clothes, when they die, they become weak again. You turn the dead person on his right side, he turns to his right. He doesn't resist. You turn him on his left side, he's turned on the left side. He doesn't resist. So actually Hajj is not a play in which people act as if they are poor or weak. No, it's the opposite. Hajj is the truth. Where our weakness and our poverty and our need is exposed. After Hajj, that's the play. Where people act. This one acts like a president. This one acts like a king. This one acts like a rich person. This one acts like a poor person. This one acts like a caretaker. This one acts. But the truth is in Hajj. The truth is that we are equal. This is the essence of Hajj. But the issue is, after Hajj, do we still have those messages in our minds? Does it reflect on our behavior when we walk Liverpool Street or London? Does it reflect on our behavior or our conduct when we work and deal with money with people? This is the problem, is that again we tend always to forget our weakness and our need. But the one who has those meanings in his heart, it will reflect on the way he deals with people. It will reflect when he donates for the Rohingya, or the Rohingya. Because some of us may say, excuse me, the problem is not in Tunisia, or in Algeria, or in Egypt, or wherever you came from, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So if it's not in my own country, I don't really have to give. Again, we forget the essence of Hajj, the essence of equality. Do we really understand the Quran? Did we really understand the verse that says, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. And the believers, men and women, are protectors of one another. They enjoin what's good and they forbid what is deplorable. Did we really feel it? Do we really believe in it? That we are protectors of one another? Or as an Egyptian, I should be only protectors of Egyptians? It will reflect when they are collecting donations for poor people in Egypt. I'll be giving more than if I'm giving to the Rohingya. So it reflects. Do I really believe in equality of all Muslims? Do I really believe that I have some duty towards those people? Don't depend on the armies that are in the Muslim world. They are busy. They have other things to keep them busy. Killing peaceful protesters and things like that. So they are busy. They are not gonna defend Rohingya. It's your duty to defend the Rohingya. It is your duty at least to call or write to your MP and ask him for a government interference. It is your duty to donate generously to your brothers and sisters who are killed for no reason except that they are Muslims. This is according to the Pope of the Vatican. Let not anyone fool you and tell you it's not about religion. No, it's about religion according to the Pope of the Vatican himself. So at least you have to keep them in your dua. Donate to them generously and write to your MP take your children and go to the rally within 2 days. You have to do whatever you can so that when you are asked about this on Judgment Day, you say, God, I did what I can. Subhanallah, the ihram doesn't have pockets. And the kafan in which we will be wrapped in doesn't have pockets. Why doesn't it have pockets? It's because cash is not accepted there. And checks are not accepted there. And your credit cards and debit cards expire when you die. So you don't take anything with you. You want to know how much exactly do you have? It's exactly what you take with you on your grave, in your grave. Nothing except the good work. All the money belongs to Allah. All the authority belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what about the money in our accounts? It's not yours. Who does it belong to? Allah. What's the evidence on this? In Surah An-Nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about freeing or helping the slaves to buy their own freedom. وَآتُوهُمْ مِنْ مَالِ اللَّهِ الَّذِي آتَاكُمْ, and give them out of the wealth of Allah that He has given you. So the wealth belongs to Allah. Okay, why isn't it in my account? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Kahf, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا مَا عَلَى الْأَرْضِ زِينَةً لَهَا لِنَبْلُوَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Indeed, we have made the ornaments of this life, of this world, a decoration of it in order to test them. So you are tested with the money that you have in your account. Like when you give your child 20 pounds, you don't give it to him to pay his rent or feed himself. You give it to him to monitor and see how is he going to deal with it. If he spends it all on candy, you're not going to give him again. But if he spends a little bit on candy and he saves a little bit, then this boy is having common sense. But if the boy gives a little bit for the sake of Allah and he saves a little bit and uses a little bit for candy, this boy is perfect. So you give him to monitor him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you to monitor you. Your money is not necessarily just a gift. It's also a test. Even standing on Arafat with people crying, consecrating themselves for Allah, represents our standing in Ard al-Mahshar. Did you ever think about this moment when you will be all gathered on Judgment Day waiting for the judgment to start? Keep that in mind when you come to the mosque and then you don't find a place to park. So you park blocking the entrance of one of the neighbors to rush to the salah, thinking that your salah will be accepted like that when you are ripping off someone's rights. How can you think that? Ripping off someone's rights is one of the biggest sins that we will be asked about on Judgment Day. So we need to keep this in mind. The messages of the Hajj need always to be in our mind when we deal with people. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. أحمد الله رب العالمين، أحمده ونحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، إنه من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا، ونصلي ونسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع هداه. If a Muslim tries to live in solitude, at the same time perform his duties towards Allah, he will not be able to live in solitude and yan'azil. Why? Because if he performs his duties towards Allah, he has to pray 5 times in the mosque. he won't be able to live in solitude. He will have to come to 5 daily meetings with the neighbors in the mosque. And he will have to come, because the sunnah is that the small musallas should be closed, and the al-masjid al-jami' should be only opened in Jumu'ah. That's the sunnah. So this means that he has to go to a weekly meeting with the neighbors of his town, or with the people in his town. And the sunnah is that in the day of Eid, all the mosques should be closed, and the people of the city should gather outside the city in the open air and pray. That means that there is a meeting twice a year with the people of his city. And there is a general assembly for all the Muslims of the world on the day of Arafah. And it's the duty of every Muslim to try to be a delegate once in his lifetime at least. Because this is the religion of the Jama'ah, not of individuals. Even when you pray alone at home, you don't say, إِيَّاكَ أَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ أَسْتَعِينُ. You're not allowed to say that. You have to say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. You alone we worship, and to you alone we turn for help, even though you are praying individually. Why? Don't tell me because this is Quran and we can't change the Quran. Allah could have made a ruling for that, but He did not. Why? Because still you are not alone. You are directing your face towards the Kaaba, and the Kaaba acts as a center that unites Muslims around it and worship in circles, and the circles keep on widening until they spread all over the earth. So even when you pray alone at home, you are in a circle. There are some other brothers and sisters praying with you in that circle. It's true that you can see them, but maybe they are in Denmark or in China, maybe on a boat or on a mountain, maybe in Burma, but you can see them. So this is not the religion of individuals. This is the religion of a community that should be strong and that should protect each other. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستذكرون ما أقول وأفوض أمري إلى الله. Oh Allah, do not condemn us if we forget or fall into error. Oh Allah, do not lay on us a burden greater than we have the strength to bear. Oh Allah, forgive us, erase our sins from our records. Oh Allah, you are our protector. Grant us your victory over the evildoers and over ourselves. Oh Allah, grant us what you promised us through the messengers. Oh Allah, save us from the shame on the day of judgment. Oh Allah, save the Muslim blood in Burma. Save the Muslim blood in Egypt. Save the Muslim blood in Syria. Save the Muslim blood everywhere. Save the innocents everywhere. Save the children everywhere. Oh Allah, whoever plans to do good for Islam and Muslims, help him and bless his deeds. And whoever plans to harm Islam and Muslims, let his destruction be in his own plans, and let it return on him, and show us in him your signs. Oh Allah, grant us your love, and the love of whom you love, and the love of every deed that gets us closer to your love. Oh Allah, we seek your protection from anxiety and sorrow. We seek your protection from helplessness and laziness. We seek your protection from the burden of debts and the tyranny of man. We seek your protection from disbelief and poverty. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا وسبيلا لمن اهتدى. افتح بيننا وبين قومنا بالحق وأنت خير الفاتحين. افتح علينا بركات من السماء وأبعد عنا الحرام والربا. باعد بيننا وبين الحرام والربا كما باعدت بين المشرق والمغرب. اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل يقربنا إلى حبك. اللهم كما جمعتنا في هذا المكان المبارك فلا تحرمنا أن تجمعنا قبل الممات في المسجد الأقصى المبارك محررا بين أيدي المسلمين. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فستذكرون ما أقول وأفوض أمري إلى الله وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر.